Okay, so class, we had started with the cost of capital, and I gave you the introduction to what is the meaning of cost of capital. That is the minimum required rate of return to maintain the market value of the firm. Now, firm can use multiple sources of finance, and each of these source will involve an individual cost. When we calculate the individual cost, then we go for weighted average of all these costs and we get the overall cost of capital, which is used as the cutoff rate and discount rate when you are taking the investment decisions of the firm also. Okay, so under this we had covered the cost of debt capital. Under cost of debt, we did two types of debt. One was a redeemable debt and the second was irredeemable debt. Irredeemable debt is a perpetual debt with no expiry period. Here the cost of debt was equal to interest adjusted for tax, as the interest on debt is a tax deductible, divided by the net proceeds. You give the answer in percentage terms, so we multiply it by 100. For redeemable debt, the cost was calculated using an approximation formula, which was I1 minus T. Okay, we had practiced questions on the same. Now we come to the second source of finance for the firm, which is the preference share, and we try to calculate the cost for preference shares. Now, preference shareholders are getting a fixed dividend from the company. Okay, so they know in advance from the time of issue what is the dividend that they will be receiving every year. So in that sense, the preference shareholders also represent a fixed liability for the firm. Okay, but the preference dividend is paid after the adjustment of tax liability. So no tax advantage is received by the company on the preference shares. Actually, tax is paid on the same. Corporate dividend tax होता है, which the company pays. Okay, so calculation is quite similar. The formulas are similar. The only difference is that no tax benefit is enjoyed on the payment of preference dividend. Again, categorization is the same: irredeemable preference shares and redeemable preference shares. So let's start with irredeemable preference shares. Your cost of preference shares will become KP. Instead of interest, now I use the term preference dividend, PD, upon net proceeds into 100. Okay, so preference dividend which the firm is paying divided by the net proceeds into 100 gives you the cost of irredeemable preference shares. Okay, again, as I told that the working is the same. For redeemable preference shares, the cost will be calculated by the shortcut formula, which will now be like this. So in the denominator, you have, I'm not able to write here. I'll take this as 2. Okay, so this is how you calculate the cost of redeemable and irredeemable preference shares. Let's move to a question on each of the types. The concept will be more clear. So this is the case of irredeemable preference shares, wherein you have a company which is issuing 10% preference shares of face value 100 each. Now the flotation cost is estimated to be 4% of the issue price. Okay, now this will be specified. In some cases, you are given flotation cost as a percentage of issue price. If nothing is given, we assume it to be a percentage of the face value. Okay. Now, how is this making a difference? I'll take up one of the cases here. I'll take up the second case. So then the concept will be more clear to you. So to calculate the cost of preference shares, irredeemable preference shares, the formula is preference dividend upon net proceeds into 100. Now to calculate the net proceeds, in this case we are issuing 100 rupee preference share at 10% premium. So your net proceed from the issue is 110. But you are also incurring a flotation cost of 4% on the issue price, which will be 4% of 110. So 4.4. So that gives you the net proceeds as 105.6. Okay, so here we have taken the net proceeds as a, sorry, this is 4%. So 4% of 110. So now you can put the values in the formula. Your dividend will always be paid on the face value. Okay. So irrespective of whether the dividend is being issued, sorry, the share is being issued at discount or premium, the dividend is always paid on the face value. So now you get the answer as 9.46% when the company is issuing preference shares at premium. This is the cost. Okay, please calculate for the first part and the third part now. At par and at 10% discount. Please calculate. Okay, so this is at par, yes, 10.41% is the cost of preference shares at par. And at discount, this cost is this rest of you. What is the cost at discount? Put in your answers in the chat box. %11.57. So now, okay, 10.41 and 11.57. Now, if you have a look at your answer, you see that when we are issuing the preference share at premium, you have the lowest cost. And when you are issuing it at discount, you are having the highest cost. If you compare the three cases, what will be the reason behind this? प्रीमियम पर कंपनी को कॉस्ट सबसे कम पड़ती है और डिस्काउंट पे सबसे ज्यादा पड़ती है. व्हाट विल बी द रीजन? Yes, Nishant, unmute yourself. Nishant is here. Mehul,
यस मैम.
yes बेटा बताओ क्या रीजन होगा इसके पीछे?
हम डिस्काउंट पे कंपनी का ज्यादा पैसा और प्रीमियम पे कम.
क्या डिस्काउंट पे कंपनी का
ज्यादा मैम, ज्यादा फंड्स लगेंगे ना कंपनी को.
हाँ बिल्कुल सिंपल कॉमन सेंस एब्सोल्युटली राइट. डिस्काउंट पे पैसा कम मिल रहा है, डिविडेंड आपने उतना ही पे करना है 10 रुपीज का. प्रीमियम पे आपको पैसा ज्यादा मिल रहा है तो आपके लिए कॉस्ट उसकी कम हो जाती है. ओके, so look for logic in what you are solving. I hope this is clear. Let's move to the next question, which is the case of redeemable debt. The question is there on your screens. I'll rewrite the formula here. This is redeemable preference shares. So please solve this question. Here the flotation cost, if nothing is mentioned, will be taken as 1% of the face value. You have 2000 shares here. So consider the number of shares. See how much is the cost coming to. Yes, what is the answer coming to? Yes, more responses. So you are considering the number of shares issued and you get the answer as 10.13%. Your net proceeds, yes, your redemption value फेस वैल्यू पे हो रहा है तो 2 लाख रुपीज होगी. नेट प्रोसीड्स आपकी हो जाएंगी 1,98,000 because 1% of the issue price is being paid as flotation cost. Okay. Preference dividend will be 20,000 and you get the final answer as 10.13%. Okay, I hope everyone has got this answer. Okay, we now move to the third source of finance and the calculation of cost of equity. Okay, so now we have calculated the cost of preference shares, we have calculated the cost of debt. There the return was predefined at the time of issue. The problem with equity shares is that there is no return which is prefixed. Okay, everything depends on the company's earnings and then what investment opportunities are available before the company. Accordingly, the company decides how much of the profits should be retained and how much of them should be distributed. Okay. Now, this makes the calculation of equity quite uncertain because there is no predefined rate of return. But the equity shareholders are expecting return in the form of dividend and they also expect an increase in the price of the share, capital appreciation when they exit from the share. So both these expectations are to be considered when we calculate the cost of equity. Okay, so as a result we have a number of approaches to calculate the cost of equity. The dividend price approach, second is dividend plus growth approach, earnings price approach, and the fourth approach, which we will be just having an overview of, is the CAPM approach. CAPM stands for Capital Asset Pricing Model. Okay, this will be done in detail when we do investment in the third year. This is model. Okay. So these are the four approaches that can be used to calculate the KE, which is the cost of equity. Let us start with the first approach, which is the dividend price approach. Okay, under the dividend price approach, we calculate the cost of equity using the dividend, expected dividend, and the market price of the share. So there again we can have two cases. One can be the cost of equity which is freshly issued, cost of new equity. तो अभी आपके पास प्रीवियस कोई भी इक्विटी नहीं है, इक्विटी शेयर्स नहीं है, you are issuing new shares and you want to calculate the cost of equity for the firm. Herein it will be D1. D1 is dividend expected at the end of year 1 divided by net proceeds into 100. So when you are issuing the equity, in the denominator you have net proceeds, and when you have existing equity, and for that you are calculating the cost, it is taken as D1 upon P0, the current market price of the share. Okay. For new equity, in the denominator we have the net proceeds, while for existing equity we see the current market price of the share and calculate the cost of equity. Okay, let's move to a question on the same. So here's the first question. A company has issued equity shares of rupees 10 each at a premium of 10%. Rotation cost, again here it is given as a percentage of issue price. Company expects to pay a dividend of 15% per share. Determine the cost of equity. So AE will be D1 divided by NP into 100. Please solve. So how much is the answer coming to? Yes, more responses. So the answer is coming to 14.5%. Using the dividend earnings approach. Yes. We now we now move to the second approach, which is dividend plus the growth approach. So when you are expecting a growth in the dividends every year, then how does the formula change? The company is increasing the dividends every year by a certain percentage. In that case, the cost of equity becomes D1, which is the expected dividend at the end of year 1, divided by P0, which is the current market price, plus the growth rate in dividends. Okay. Now again, this growth can be a fixed percentage every year or a varying percentage. I repeat myself, growth rate can be fixed. So every year the company is increasing the dividends by 10%. That's the policy of the company. And there can also be a varying growth rate in dividends. So 1 year it is 10%, then 12, then 11, and so on. So both the cases will be different, but the formula that we use is D1 upon P0 plus G. This formula also helps you to calculate the current market price. What should be the current market price of the share? You rearrange the terms, you get this as the formula to calculate the current market price of the share. Okay. So let's move to a question on the same. This is a question on constant growth rate of dividend. You have the same growth rate, which is 6%. So G is 6%. The expected dividend is 5. The current market price is 95. And you are required to calculate first the cost of equity capital and then the expected market price at the end of first year and second year. So class, please first calculate the cost of equity. Six 0.05 उससे ज्यादा आएगा बेटा. Check. Everyone is getting this answer. I'll also check. $11.26 will be the answer. When you are taking the values in decimal here, your growth rate will also be in decimal. So I think you people are making a mistake here. When I am taking D1 by P0 in decimal form, I will take the growth rate also in decimal. I am not taking that in percentage. That's giving you a wrong answer. So 11.26 will be your cost of equity. Yes, I hope this has made sense to the students who have calculated the cost of equity earlier. Yes, okay. तो या तो दोनों जगह डेसिमल में लो, और अगर परसेंटेज में आप ग्रोथ रेट ले रहे हो तो यहाँ पे भी पहले 100 से मल्टीप्लाई करो D1/P0 को. Okay. Then the second part of question, you have to calculate the market price at the end of year 1 and at the end of year 2. Okay, so I told you if we rearrange, we get this as the formula. Okay. Now this is P0, which is the current market price. If I have to calculate P1, this will become P2. And if I have to calculate P2, then I move one step ahead and this becomes P3. Okay. Now if I have to calculate D2, आपका फर्स्ट ईयर के एंड पे डिविडेंड एक्सपेक्टेड है ₹5 और हर ईयर उसमें 6% ग्रोथ हो रही है, तो सेकेंड ईयर के एंड पे आप एक्सपेक्ट करोगे डिविडेंड ऑफ 5 प्लस 6% of 5, which will be 5.3 rupees, 5 rupees 30 paisa. Okay, and accordingly you can calculate the D3 also. Will be 5, and you are increasing the dividend twice by 6% each year. Okay, so now you can calculate P1, what is the expected price at the end of year 1 and at the end of year 2. Give the answers. I'm writing for P1 here. Yes, the point में ले लो, confusion नहीं होगी. So you're getting the answer as how much? 10.076. 100 होगा. हाँ, 10 तो वैसे भी नहीं होगा बिकॉज 95 तो करंट मार्केट प्राइस है शेयर का. Okay, so okay, just be careful when you're solving. So this will be 100.76. Yes, right. This is the expected market price at the end of year 1. Similarly, calculate for end of year 2. What is the price you are getting? Okay, more responses. Yes, 106.8 is the correct answer. So you get the value at the end of year 2 as 106.8. Okay, all of you complete this and we will stop here. Today we have a tune with group 2.